Hey guys, what's going on? It's been a while. I thought I would hop on live to say hi and to talk about broken hearts because if you don't know what I do or you have been following me, I love to talk about this kind of stuff. My name is Portia. This is your first time joining me. Let me know where you're tuning in from down below. I'm all about helping women find their firepower and holistic methods of healing their yonis. So you'll hear me do a lot of yoni talk, see a lot of yoni talk on my page, all that good stuff. Hey Tiffany, how are you, babe? We're going to be talking today about something I hear about quite often. If you don't know, I do a couple little free consultations, 30-minute consultations. You can book them on my site, and I call them sister talks, where you can just talk to me about things that are going on in your life, relationships that you're going through, things that you're trying to get over, and we come up with a dedicated plan to help you get past this situation. Thank you. I just got it redone today. It's a little brighter, as you can see. We're getting rid of the black that was in there, so I'm really excited because it's not supposed to look like streaks. It's supposed to be more of an ombre, but it's really bright today because I just got it redyed, so thank you. Hey Tiffany. Hey Sarah. What's up, girl? How you doing, babe? I did get my essential oils that you suggested, so I'll be trying those today. If you have oil suggestions, just let me know how you put it on, if you dilute it. Well, obviously you dilute it, but what you suggest diluting it with. Just let me know. Hey Des, how are you, babe? Thank you, babe. Just got it redone today. So we're talking about broken hearts, right? The things that we carry on from relationships to relationships. And I want to kind of explain how I'm learning so much, you guys, already. Like, I'll be starting SLRC, which is my certification for sex, love, and relationships in January. But we've already done some pre-required requisites, and it's just been super eye-opening, even in my own, relationship. So a lot of times we get in these relationships, right? And I have been in a few that were damaging, right? We all have been through the abusive, whether it was physical or whether it was non-physical or maybe it was mental or, whatever the case may be. We get in these relationships that just become abusive towards us, become really bad for our mental health, for our body and mental health. And then we meet somebody who's good to us, and then we have all this stuff that we're carrying with us into the relationship that causes turmoil in our new relationship, and we just can't seem to figure out why we have these issues, right? So I'm going to give you guys some tips on, how to let go of things that could be hindering us from having a successful love life, okay? And these are things that I've worked through personally because I have had a lot of damage from previous relationship, and it really took me a long time to get over. Just recently, I actually wrote him a forgiveness letter, which I'll be talking a little bit about because that's important to be able to forgive somebody and then forgive yourself for allowing the person to treat you that way, okay? So we'll go into that. Thanks, Sarah. I appreciate it. Hey, Maureen, how are you? Hope you guys had a fantastic Christmas. Okay, so number one, you have to understand if you are in a new relationship and that person hasn't given you any reason not to trust them or had to treat them badly or not to listen to them or listen to, those types of things. And I mean, listen to them as like validating their feelings. Then you have to like divorce what has happened to you before, okay? And I know that sometimes that can be really hard because it's like, well, you start to see things that give you triggers, and sometimes you don't even notice that those triggers are happening. Like, for instance, sometimes my man will say something and legitimately, hey, Nicole, I'll be like, whoa, I've heard that before, so I need to react this way. Just divorcing what's happened to you before and not bringing that over into your relationship can be a relationship saver. Like, for instance, if you came from a situation where, that person was always cheating on you, try not to carry that into the next relationship with you because not every person is the same, and we have to divorce what's happened to us before in order for us to have a fruitful relationship going forward, okay? So I know it's like, well, okay, Portia, how do I do this? First thing, journaling, okay? Journaling has been such an eye-opener to me and able to break down my feelings and what I'm feeling. So if something that my significant other said, I will journal it out, what it made me feel. Okay, a lot of us get the feelings and we run away from those feelings. We're like, oh no, I don't want to feel that. I don't want to talk about that. Just don't do that anymore. Okay, but we don't really understand why we're saying this, right? Where is it coming from? Why is it making us feel that way? And that's why I love journaling. It helps you break down exactly what it is. Write it out. Even if it doesn't make sense, none of the sentences make sense, nothing. Just write it out and read it out and be like, oh my gosh, this is why I think this, okay? And us women are so complicated. It could be the simplest thing, right? For instance, like, it could be a tone of voice, and you could be like, don't talk to me that way. Why are you talking to me that way? And he could be like, what are you talking about? And it could have been from somebody else that said it in that same tone, or said something in a tone that made you trigger, that turned it into an argument with your new partner. See what I'm saying? The things just carry and carry and carry on. So you have to learn how to divorce that stuff, like I said, and write it out. And if you're angry and you're upset about someone or for something, feel free to just write it out. Just write it out. It will help you so much, okay? Number two, okay? And this one might be a little bit difficult, because I know forgiveness is something that I had to struggle with for a long time. Sorry, I can't get my words out. Even with family members, with people who have hurt me through my family, friends who have hurt me, things like that. You have to learn how to forgive. I know it's so hard, especially with those who intentionally hurt us, who intentionally made us cry or physically abuse us in any kind of way. But it's important for you to forgive in order for you to move on in life. If you think about this, okay, the person who hurt you is probably not that remorseful, right? And maybe they are, who knows? But 9 times out of 10, they're not. So if they're not thinking about it, and you're spending all this time and energy thinking about it and hating that person, and just being very upset with the situation and giving this situation so much negative energy, and they're not thinking about it, who really is living their life, and who's really, just bring it to me, babe, and who is free, who's truly free in the situation. So the person gets to hurt you and then gets to hurt you for the rest of your life. It doesn't stop there. It continues to go on because you're still thinking about the situation. You're still mad at that person. That person comes up every time something reminds you of that person. You're still giving that energy. So you have to be able to say, I forgive you. Here comes, she knows every time I go live, she loves it. Careful, Rashad, careful. Thank you. She's half dressed. Say hi. She's going to join us right now. You gonna be good? Okay. So she just wants to be held right now. Always. My little love bug. But you have to say you forgive, okay? Especially if it's been a super traumatic experience. For me, instantly, I think of somebody in my past that I had a relationship with for a while. And I trusted that person so much that I moved away from my family. I moved away from my friends into a completely new city. And as soon as I got there with him, he turned into a monster. Physically, mentally abusive person. And forever, I would just see things that remind me of him, and I'd be so mad and so angry. I would check his Instagram, his Facebook, and I would just be so mad at everything. Some people would ask me about him, and I'd be like, oh, I would just feel like my heart would just sink. I would just be so pissed off, just angry. But I learned that he's probably not doing the same thing. He probably couldn't care less. And the more that I hinder myself and allow myself to feel that hate, to feel that anger, it wasn't helping me grow. Okay. It wasn't being productive for my growth. It wasn't helping me in new relationships. Relationships after him never lasted. I never could trust any man. I always would see something in them that reminded me of him. It was just crazy. That was a crazy 3 years of my life. I was just every man, I was just oh, they're all the same. That thing that we like to do. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's just we have to remember that forgiveness is hard. It's super hard. And again, if you have to, I wrote a letter and I burned it. It just made me feel so good to just get everything I had to say out and just completely just block anything that had to do with him, stayed away from his Instagram, all those things just helped me so much be able to, get rid of that in my mind. Oh, I'm glad, Tiffany. Awesome. Okay, and last thing, okay, ladies, we have to begin to find ourselves, okay? And when I mean find ourselves, we know what it's like when we're in love, okay? Especially when we start to fall in love. First you meet the guy and you're like, oh, I like him, and then you fall in love, and then everything starts to become about that love. We forget who we are sometimes, especially in when you're married and then you have to get divorced and all those things. We forget who we are. We really, really forget who we are. So you need to literally come on a roadmap. Go on a roadmap of finding yourself again, okay? And we change so much. Us women, man, hey, Alicia, how are you, babe? We literally change so much. And when we get into relationships, we change and we compromise, and sometimes we give so much than we were even receiving. We have to go on this roadmap to finding ourselves and holding true to who we are. So for instance, if you got in a relationship and you stopped going to yoga, go back to yoga. if you stop meditating because, you know, you just had so much going on in that relationship, go back to meditating. Find who you are again, okay? And if you're in a relationship, it's so important that you don't lose the things that are you in that relationship, because then when you, like, if, let's say, like, not even if the relationship ends, but let's say, like, you have these, like, weird feelings and emotional baggage when he wants to go out with his friends or he wants to go and do things, you know, you get this emotional baggage. Like, I used to get so, like, this knot in my throat when my significant other would tell me he wanted to go somewhere with friends, just because I couldn't trust my ex at all. Like, so I would get, like, this emotional, like, baggage and sometimes throw a fit, not even knowing it, because I just did not trust. And so, like, learning to be, like, okay with myself and, like, centered with myself and, like, okay, cool, you're gonna go with your friends, I'm gonna go do something for me that's Portia, that's sacred to me, that moment for myself. And it just became more and more of a routine because, hey Sarah, because a lot of times it's like we get in these relationships and we totally forget who we are. We're like, okay, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I have a job, I'm doing this and that, but when are you, like, doing the things that you love? And, like, recreating that can be so much fun, you guys. Like, really living in the moment and, like, living for self. Even if you have somebody, even if you have kids, it's so important to live for self. Like, do the things that make you fire inside, things that make you happy, things that you need things to look forward to in life, okay? Even if it's like every week you're excited to go to, like, Crumble Cookie and the frozen yogurt place makes you happy. Like, you know, every week I'm going to go here, I'm going to try all the flavors, I'm going to embody the moment just by being there. Or maybe it's going to, like, downtown we have, like, this beautiful, right now it's so gorgeous, they have, like, all these areas that are full of lights, and it's just so beautiful just to sit back at this little coffee shop and just watch all the people. And it's just like, that's something that you have to do for self. Don't ever give up who you are, or if you feel like you don't know what that is anymore, go and find those things that can make you happy with yourself again. Okay, and never, okay, I really want to say this too, ever blame yourself for something that did not work out, okay? There's 3 types of relationships that are in our lives, okay? We have people who are for purpose that don't last long. They're here to bring us things and teach us things, and then they move on, okay? Then you have the lifetime people who are going to be there no matter what. They're going to be in your life regardless, forever and ever and never and never, and sometimes that's a great thing. And then you have the people, hey. Then you have the people who you are there to teach them something, okay? And so sometimes, you know, people get all bent out of shape with these relationships. And they're like, well, I just feel like I found the guy and he's not there anymore. He wasn't meant to be in your life for a long time, okay? The divine has his way of showing us what we truly need in life. And sometimes we're holding on to these things that were temporary in the first place. Just like temporary hair color. Okay, it was fun to dye your hair purple that day, but next year you probably won't feel the same way. It was temporary. It wasn't for you to hold on to. So when you feel like a relationship is just tearing down, you have to look at the signs and be like, is this something that the universe, that God, the divine source is trying to tell me to let go? Okay, because sometimes we're holding on. I always say this, it's like a bar of soap, right? Relationships are like a bar of soap, and if you hold on to that bar of soap while it's wet, it's going to slip right out of your hand. But if you kind of, like, nestle it in and let it do its thing, it'll stay there for a while, or it fall out of your hand, or it melts and goes through your fingers. You kind of just let it do what it needs to do and be appreciative of every moment. That lesson, there's always a lesson. There's never a loss, okay? Right? Right? Yes, fear of loss. Yep. Yes, fear of loss. That's a huge one. There's a fear of loss always in relationships, and then there's a fear of always being alone. People are like, well, I just have to stick with this person because I don't want to be alone. I'm too afraid to be alone, or I don't want to, you know, open myself up and stay blocked because I don't want to give away too much of myself because I don't want to this person to run away from me and I have nothing left, you know? And so that's a huge thing. It's like being able to tear down those walls and say whatever happens, happens, and I'm okay with the outcome. Divorce that outcome. Say whatever happens, happens. You know, give yourself freely, but always have boundaries. Boundaries are so important. In any relationship, have boundaries and make sure that those boundaries are established and that you know what you want. Because sometimes we get in love and we forget that we have boundaries and we start to accept things that are not what our boundaries said we should be accepting. And so then we end up in a situation where we've settled and we have less than what we settled for. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's like, okay, this is my boundaries. This is where I draw the line. And you know what? Good relationships have boundaries. If you're able to stick up and stand up for yourself, that should be like every man should love a woman who has boundaries, who should be able to say, yes, this is something I will accept. No, this is something. And if it doesn't work out, it's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with either one of you, okay? Just didn't work out. Something just didn't work out. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with him. We have to remember that there's so much conditioning that happens from the time we're babies to the time we become adults, that there's so much conditioning in between that, relationships with family, things like that. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. And the way that they were raised and, turmoil that they've been in is just too much for you to deal with. And, I always say, I always tell my man this, if you're looking for perfect, you'll never find it with me. Like, I'll never be perfect. But I can always be Portia. And whether you're willing to accept who I am now, right now, like without any change or growth, is who you're going to get every time. You're not going to get anything different. I might grow, I might advance, I might learn, but I'm always going to be Portia. See what I'm saying? So you have to be able to accept that from your partner as well. You can't try to change somebody. You can't, I don't care how much sage or crystals you lay out and pray over your partner. They're going to be the same person. So you have to love them for who they are right now. And if you can't love them for who they are right now, then go ahead and move along. And that's okay. Don't slobber. She's like slobbering down my back. She's so funny. But I just thought I'd come on here and say hi. It's been a while, guys. I love you all. Hope you had a fantastic Christmas. I look forward to a new year with all you lovely ladies. Hope you're having a fantastic Thursday. My mom will be here tomorrow, so there'll be some lives from me and my mama. Hope you guys have a fantastic night. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.